to step in the ring with one of the most
brutal and vicious and most ruthless
champions there's ever been.
My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable.
He wants to rip your heart out.
I want to eat his children.
But on July 20th, I promise you, I'll come out victorious.
I will bury Tyson next to his daughter's grave. Jake Paul sends new warning to Mike Tyson on Live. It's not getting any better. Jake Paul has cooked up more scathing words for Mike Tyson. And sadly, it's about the tragic death of his daughter many years ago. It's come so unexpected. And with this, Jake is set to cause more damage to Mike Tyson. But how insensitive could that be? Well, let's get right in. Things continue to get heated ahead of the much-anticipated big fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. There's been a lot of tough talking flying around since the fight was made official, and Jake Paul has now come out to issue another big warning to Tyson ahead of the July 20th showdown.
He's impregnable.
He wants to rip your heart out.
I want to eat his children.
But on July 20th, I promise you, I'll come out victorious.
So much has happened since the contract was signed. Several threats have been sent across the camps of both fighters. We've seen a lot of training footages as well. And notably, the fight has suffered its share of adversities, too.
It's day one, the fun just begun.
Amidst all that's been happening, Jake Paul seemed to have taken things a bit farther than he ordinarily would. This time around, he has threatened to bury Tyson close to his daughter's grave. Jake Paul made this threat in response to the latest warning issued by Tyson ahead of their boxing match. Tyson, in one of his daily training sessions, fired at Jake Paul and told him, "Day 4, you know it was okay, but you don't know what you got in store, baby. You've got to face the god of war. Get ready, baby. Fire is in the house." Along with this, Tyson's recent comments have been so badly received by Jake Paul. Though he's always replied with tough and savage responses, he violently overstepped his boundaries with this one. He started with this, "Hey, Mike Tyson, still looking forward to the fight between both of us where I'm gonna rip your head off." He then added, "Tyson said it's gonna be my funeral, but we all know whose funeral it's gonna be. I will bury Tyson close to his daughter's grave." Your daughter died a sad death. I'd make you die a sadder death. And when you go meet her, she'll blame you for ever choosing to meet the problem child. Jake Paul seemed to have no guilt despite referencing the dead. He went on this say, "Your family will mourn again on July 20th, and it's gonna be for you. You don't meet me without experiencing a problem. Your daughter must be very ashamed of the kind of father you've become. But guess what? I'm gonna help her. I'm gonna help take away her shame by ending you. And when I do, you'll be laid by her grave, and she'll be grateful that I sent you to her so quickly. You shameless old man." With these latest comments, Paul must have touched a very sensitive part of Mike Tyson's life, those kind of parts he would never want to discuss publicly. Tyson lost his 4-year-old daughter in 2009 when she accidentally hung herself on the treadmill in what was described as a tragic accident while playing at home. Exodus Tyson, the daughter of the former heavyweight champion, was placed on life support before eventually giving up the ghost on May 26, 2009. And an emotional Mike Tyson couldn't hold back following the death of his 4-year-old daughter, as he even admitted contemplating suicide. He said, "This is my best thinking at the time. Get my gun, automatic just like this, and just go crazy. But when I went to the hospital, the people that were there, they were up there because their kids are dead too, or about to die. So who the hell am I thinking of dying to? I don't know what happened that day," Tyson said in an emotional interview shortly after the death of Exodus. Tyson also admitted to resorting to getting high as a coping mechanism amidst his grief. "I did some cocaine for a week. I had to get high. I couldn't handle it at all."
This is my best thinking at the time. Get my gun, automatic, just like this, and you just go crazy.
Who are you gonna hurt?
Regardless.
According to Mike Tyson in another interview, it was an event that meant he had to grow up. He, however, admitted that it was uncertain if he was ever going to get over the incident. "I just know I had to grow up. I lost my daughter and some family daughter at home, and it was just a time to grow up and wake up."
No, I did some cocaine for a week. I had to get high. I had to back then. I had to get high. I couldn't handle it.
You know, I had a incident where I lost my daughter in some family accident at home, and it was just a time to grow up.
I wasn't living with her mother. I was at Las Vegas, and they live in Phoenix. And her mother called and told me what happened, and I rushed down there, and it was already pretty much a done deal. It's a new state, so I don't know if I get over that.
I was in Las Vegas, and they live in Phoenix. And her mother called and told me what had happened, and I rushed down there, and it was already pretty much a
Over a decade later, Mike Tyson still recalled this tragic incident that took the life of his 4-year-old daughter, describing it as the biggest beatdown he ever had. I lost my 4-year-old daughter. She accidentally killed herself by accident. She jumped on a treadmill, she didn't know how to work it, and she got hurt. So after that, I didn't know what to do. I just didn't know what to do. I haven't recovered from that. I just know in order to make her happy, I have to do good things and be positive.
Beat down you've ever had, whether it be physically or emotionally or spiritually?
I lost my 4-year-old daughter. She accidentally killed herself by accident.
Oh, man.
She on a treadmill. She didn't know how to work it, and she had hurt.
Wow.
So after that, I didn't know what to do.
Following the incident, Mike Tyson seemed to lose so much focus on his business, his fitness, and his family. However, despite being in so many relationships and about 3 marriages in the past, Tyson is very much settled and has been married to spouse, Lakiha Spicer, since 2009. Tyson is very much a family man who holds his family values very strongly and diligently, never failing to rise to the occasion of being a good husband and a father to his kids. Family values are just as important to your winning goals in life. Sometimes it is not all about being selfish and thinking of just yourself. Sometimes we have to sacrifice some of our time in the gym for family time. Family is what keeps our mental attitude sane and keeps us winning. Family is what keeps our fire in our bellies going so we can achieve and provide the best for them, especially kids' future. Don't put winning first. Tyson was once quoted on social media to have said this. It is safe to say that at 57, Tyson sees life and family in a different light, having been through so many separations, including about a couple of divorces. He's been with his current spouse for 13 years, showing he is very much a reformed man now. A reformed man that has buried the past of accusations of violence, rape, substance abuse, and many other vices. The fight with Jake Paul would mark the 2nd time he is coming out of retirement for a boxing match, and Paul's recent comments about his deceased daughter would most likely spur him to do a lot of talking in the ring. Mike Tyson, in his prime, was very well known for beating boxers who couldn't keep their mouth shut mercilessly and brutally. And it will be interesting to see how he responds to Jake Paul. Donnie Long could definitely help Jake Paul with some advice in this regard. Shortly before his fight against Mike Tyson in 1985, Donnie Long was seen saying, "I'm in good shape, I feel sharp, and I feel like I'm gonna outbox Tyson."
Hey, I feel sharp, and I feel like I can outbox Tyson. Felt it better than Tyson. This will be a win to let everybody know that Donnie Long is back.
Tyson, who was just 19 at the time, was on a brilliant run of 8 wins and 0 losses. But standing before him was what many regarded as his toughest test yet. Donnie Long, an egoistic, smirky fellow, was Tyson's latest challenge. He was a highly rated heavyweight who had a quite similar backstory to Mike Tyson. He had a rough upbringing, a history of drugs, and even worse, he was an ex-convict for murder. Going into the match, there was a 10-year age difference between both fighters. I plan on boxing Tyson. I think that I can box as good as he can. I keep him in the middle of the ring. This is going to be a win that lets everybody know that Donnie Long is back, Long added, brimming with confidence.
Be a win to let everybody know that Donnie Long is back.
I've ever seen Donnie Long look, but give Tyson credit. That's it. Left hand puts him down. He collapses, and this one is over as the doc.
It obviously didn't end well for Long, as the so-called master of disaster got completely massacred and manhandled by Iron Mike. The baddest man on the planet, in his typical marauding approach, was a handful for Donnie Long. Strong, quick punches, and it was evident from the first round that Long stood very little chance against Tyson. He was ultimately undone and knocked out by the sheer ferociousness of a 19-year-old Mike Tyson.
All you come get some, because Mike Tyson's out here. He's waiting for you. All come get some.
McNeeley.
Victim number 2 is Peter. Peter was very confident in his chances against
Tyson, after that match, reiterated a rhetorical question to the ringside reporter. Like I told you earlier today, that if I knock him out in 1 or 2 rounds, will you still consider him a tough opponent? All of you come get some. Mike Tyson is out here. He's waiting for you. All come get some.
Keep laughing. Real funny, huh? If any one of you that doesn't respect me or what I'm doing or what I've been doing for the last 3 months since it was been announced, and going against a guy like this, you'd have a big dump in your pants.
Another prime example was Peter McNeeley, who was very confident and made several emphatic statements before his now famous bout with Mike Tyson in 1995. But little did he know that there was some humble pie ready to be served.
Tyson in a cocoon of horror. He'll be singing with our friends down at the House of Blues.
McNeeley was probably even more cocky and arrogant than Long. He came off as somewhat of a loudmouth, and everyone would naturally expect someone who talked like that to be able to march his words with actions to a certain extent at least, listened more, and acted even a lot more. Keep laughing, funny, huh? If any one of you doesn't respect me or what I'm doing or what I've been through for the last 3 months, going against a guy like this, then you've got a big dump in your pants. I'm Hurricane Peter McNeeley from Medfield, Massachusetts. On Saturday night, watch me kick Tyson out. Well, if you haven't made your pay-per-view arrangements yet, make them soon, because remember what happens when I wrap you in my cocoon.
Tyson in a cocoon of horror. He'll be singing with our friends down at the House of Blues.
When I wrap Mike Tyson in a cocoon of horror, he'd be singing with our friends down the House of Blues. Before stepping into the ring with Tyson, McNeeley still had some talking to do. This is for my grandfathers, my grandmothers, my father, my mother, Kelly, my 3 brothers, last but not the least Manfield.
Last but not least, Snubby.
Mr. McNeeley, what was it that you have told your son?
And last but not least, Medfield.
Once again, it was sheer and utter dominance from Iron Mike Tyson against the Hurricane, who just couldn't withstand the barrage of punches from Tyson. McNeeley was knocked down twice within the first 2 minutes of the boxing match, and was eventually disqualified after his manager, Vinny Vecchione, stepped into the ring as a means of damage control, given that his fighter had already been knocked down twice.
And last but not least, Medfield.
Drawing from these precedents, it is quite evident that Jake Paul needs to exercise caution with his words, and importantly, that he approaches the fight with Tyson so carefully that he doesn't awaken an inner beast that has been made to lay low for a while now. The question that remains unanswered, however, is if Mike Tyson still go hard on opponents like he used to do in his prime. And if Jake Paul suffer the same fate as McNeeley and Long? Well, Tyson had recently opened on his career. According to him, he took things a little too seriously, which made him leave his opponents in severe damage. I don't know, I think I took it too seriously. Yeah, I think I took it a little too seriously, Tyson said recently. There's no denying of Tyson's work ethic and fighting style, but he has always been very aggressive in his approach, and was one that hated to lose. In 2020, Tyson did come out of retirement in an exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr. and was able to go on for 8 rounds. Aged 55 at the time, it further goes to show his fitness levels and also points to the fact that things haven't changed a lot with Tyson physically despite his age. Currently aged 57, a lot of boxing fans and commentators are tilted towards giving Jake Paul the nod ahead of their upcoming bout, as Tyson would even be 58 when both men face each other in July, while Paul will be 27. Though from Tyson's antecedents, he has never been a fighter to bet against, and with Jake Paul's provocative statements, there might be a tendency of him taking things too personal. I bet you no one wants to fight Mike Tyson when he's pissed off. He's not in for so much long banters and trash talking, said Mike Tyson's former trainer, Kevin Rooney. He added, "This is a man that loves to do his talking in the ring, brag too much, and he rips you off." A man who has always been spurred by challenges throughout his career, Tyson was the youngest ever heavyweight champion at age 20. And even if this is just an exhibition match, Mike Tyson still has a legacy to protect at the age of 58. Tyson's current trainer, Rafael Cordero, on the other hand, has continued to maintain that Tyson is as ready as ever to beat Paul on July 20th. He's fought against the best guys in the world. When he steps inside the ring, he knows what to do. It's not something new for Mike, and this fight is no different. You can see fire in his eyes when he trains, and he will never give less than that. Mike is going to step into the ring as the old Mike Tyson, and he's going to try and knock out Jake from the beginning to the end. Furthermore, it is almost even popular consensus that he's still got the power. This is the opinion of American boxing legend Fernando Vargas, who claimed Jake Paul had never faced anything like Tyson before. Man, Mike got a one-hitter-quitter power forever till he passes away. So at the end of the day, I don't think that Jake Paul has been hit with anything with that type of power. I think that Mike still got it. We will always have the power. It's the last thing to go for us fighters. It is literally common knowledge or popular opinion that Mike Tyson has one of the best muscle memory in boxing, and this is evident from his training footages in recent bouts. The fierceness and speed is second to none even at his age. However, despite going for 8 rounds in 2020 against Roy Jones Jr., there are still fears that Tyson lacks the stamina to fight so many rounds against a much younger fighter like Jake Paul.
It's a one-hitter quitter power forever till he passes away. And so at the end of the day, I don't think that Jake Paul's ever been hit with anything with that type of power.
A former professional boxer and commentator, Lennox Lewis, shared his opinion on Tyson and said, "I respect Tyson. I acknowledge his status as one of the greatest boxers to have ever lived. In terms of the power, I think he's more superior than Jake Paul. But boxing has got a lot to do with endurance. You can't take that away from a boxing match because when we have 2 good opponents, they are going to push themselves to their limits, and we may end up having so many rounds, and this is where the stamina and endurance becomes a factor." According to Jeff Mayweather, Tyson knows more than Jake Paul will ever know. "I respect Tyson. I acknowledge his status as one of the greatest boxers to have ever lived. In terms of the power, I think he's more superior than Jake Paul. But boxing has got a lot to do with endurance. You can't take that away from a boxing match because when we have 2 good opponents, they're going to push themselves to their limits, and we may end up having so many rounds, and this is where the stamina and endurance becomes a factor," Lennox Lewis said in a recent interview. Jeff Mayweather, however, backed Tyson to use his experience to good effect, as according to him, Tyson knows more than Jake Paul will ever know.
No, I think Mike Tyson knows more than Jake Paul will ever know.
Mayweather's comments stressed and emphasized the importance of all the experience garnered throughout the illustrious career. A total of 58 fights, with 50 wins and just 6 loses, Tyson has obviously faced the best of the best in the business. As a matter of fact, he won 44 matches by knockout, further highlighting his ferocious and unmatched fighting skill. Looking back at his records, it is actually not surprising the number of new generation boxers who don't only see him as a model, but also fight with a similar style. He definitely did colonize his era. Everybody wanted to watch Tyson fight, and every aspiring boxer wanted to be like Tyson. I don't know why the general public is intrigued by me. Perhaps it's because I seemed fearless to say things without caring about the repercussion. I think this is a trait that people either envy or despise, and I had that effect on people, said Tyson in an interview a while ago. I could make them love or hate me. No matter what the person felt about me, I stirred up an emotion. I mastered this. I knew how to work a crowd and make everyone look at me. I really was out of my mind. Cus D'Amato had told me I would walk with the gods, and I believed him. I don't think that way now. I'm just grateful to be able to work at this stage in my career, especially after burning so many bridges as a young, arrogant man. I just had too much too fast. Mike Tyson did not shy away from the fact that he's had a not-so-perfect career, as he made a great number of enemies within and without the ring, and also stepped on toes almost everywhere. Controversies, jail term, and several other personal crises have characterized the life of the boxing icon. Regardless, he still commands a very large influence in and outside boxing. Hence, even in retirement, he's still making the headlines for a pay-per-view. Jake Paul, on the other hand, may never stop getting a lot of stick for agreeing to a deal to fight Mike Tyson. It has been described as lose-lose for the young social media sensation turned boxer, despite the huge amount of money and publicity involved. Whichever way, the fans cannot wait for the 20th of July. If you enjoyed watching this video, kindly react by clicking the like button. And also, to remain updated with the latest new moments, actions, and events in the world of boxing, ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications as well. Until next time, peace out.